So, welcome back to Daily Transfer Update, and today we're going to speak about 3 players, 2 that are coming in, 1 that could potentially be going out. Let's start with the one that is going out, and that is Calum Chambers. Now, he was on loan at Fulham last season. We signed him back in 2014 for what was back then a record for a centre-back signing at Arsenal of £16 million. He is currently 24 years old. Fulham's player of the season. He is linked with a move to Lazio for £12.5 million. Now, last season he played 21 games at defensive midfield, scoring 2 goals. Centre back, he played 10 games, no goals. Right midfield, he played a couple of games, no goals again. His Premier League record reads like this: 125 games, 5 goals, 2 assists. Now, like I said, he was a record signing as a centre-back for Arsenal Football Club 5 years ago when we signed him. Now, he started 25 out of the 31 games for Fulham last season. He was their player of the season. And there's a reason why he was their player of the season, because their team was bang average and he stood out amongst the bang average players in the squad. He was absolutely fantastic, let's be real. He played absolutely superb for Fulham last season. Would he do that for Arsenal? I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure whether he's good enough to play for Arsenal in the first place. Now, we signed him from Southampton. He's under contract until 2022. So if we were to sell him on, we obviously command a fee for that. Hence why Lazio are linked with a £12.5 million deal for him. Now, for me, I don't think he's worth half of £12.5 million, if I'm being completely honest. But if we get that deal done, happy days, we reinvest that money back into the squad. Now, like I said, he was Fulham's player of the season. They got relegated. He was the one shining light in that squad that played really, really well. The rest of them flopped, but he was the one that had Premier League experience. He was the one that had that leadership quality, and he has got that. He has got that about him. He is a leader. He is a guy that will grab hold of his teammates and tell them what for. Do you know what I'm saying? He will do that. But is what it is. He's been linked with Lazio for £12.5 million. If he goes, fantastic. We get £12.5 million to reinvest back into the team. If he doesn't, then we've got a player that's on fairly decent wages that's just going to be a fringe player, because let's be real, he ain't getting in Arsenal starting 11. Now, the second player we're going to speak about today is a guy that was linked to us about a month ago. That is Djené Dakonam, and we have apparently triggered a £27 million release clause that he has in his contract. Now, this guy has played for Getafe for 2 seasons. He has had 2 superb seasons for Getafe. 27 years old, Togo international, centre-back, currently under contract until 2023. Now, the last 2 seasons that he's played in Spain, they have finished 8th and they have finished 5th, which is an absolutely ridiculous level for Getafe. Listen, Getafe are the MK Dons of the Spanish league. He can play centre-back, which he has this season predominantly. He can play right-back, left-back, and he has played a few games at defensive midfield. He is only 5'8", which is relatively small for a centre-back, but he has got a massive leap on him. The guy's as strong as an ox. In a 50-50, he can win every single one of them. His pass completion is the only downside to this guy's game. He can't walk out of defence with the ball. His pass completion over the course of the season is only 71.9%, which is 3rd at Getafe. If you go through their whole squad, it's the 3rd highest at Getafe. Over the course of the league, it's about the 50th highest. Now, he's comfortable on both feet, and for me, I think this would be a great signing. Everton are linked, Leicester are linked, and obviously we are linked. Now, for me, like I said, I think he'll be a superb signing. I think that it would slot in perfectly next to Socrates, next to Holding, and I think that he's got every single attribute to succeed in the Premier League. Can he step up that level? That is the big question. Now, we've seen bigger and better players come into this Premier League and flop. Falcao, we've seen him flop. Fernando Torres flopped from one club to the next club in the Premier League. So you never know how it's going to go. But at the same time, the fee that is reported for him is around the £27 million mark. I think that we could do a lot worse than signing this guy. And I think he'd be superb. Like, listen, I watch La Liga. I watch it every single week. I have done for about a decade now. And I've watched this guy. Despite his short height, I think that he is a commanding centre-back that reads the game really, really well. The only thing I will say about this guy, as soon as he's pulled out of position, that's when he flops. So with Arsenal's defence, he'll probably be pulled out of position left, right and centre and look like an absolute liability. But for me, I think we should be all over this guy like an absolute rash. Last but by no means least is Yannick Carrasco. Now, Arsenal have reached personal terms with this guy. We've got down to final negotiations. And then out of nowhere, Borussia Dortmund. Not Borussia Dortmund, what am I talking about? Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich have then come in at the 11th hour and they have said, well, we want him. Now, I've said all along that I don't think we will sign Yannick Carrasco. I think that he is using us as leverage to try and get a bigger, maybe not bigger, but better club right now. Somebody with Champions League football, somebody that can offer him big bonuses, somebody that can offer him a big signing on fee, image rights, etc., etc. Now, for me, I don't think he's coming to Arsenal. But at the same time, I think maybe Arsenal are putting it out there that we're linked with this guy to try and get the Ryan Fraser deal done. So it's a cat and mouse situation right now. At the end of the day, I don't think Carrasco is the answer to our problems. Yes, he's a talented footballer. Yes, I think he's a great signing if we sign him. If we sign him, of course, I will back the guy. But at the same time, I'd rather have Ryan Fraser over Yannick Carrasco. We all know why he moved to China. It's all about the Benjamin, baby. He moved to China for the money. Wanda Metropolitana Stadium is sponsored by the club that own Yannick Carrasco right now, Dilian Yifang. They are the club, the Wanda Group. They have the image rights, the sponsorship rights to the Atletico Stadium right now. I've been to that stadium and what a beautiful stadium it is. Absolutely fantastic stadium. But they were, him and Gaitan were part of the deal to sign the sponsorship deal, to get the deal over the line. They were the make weight to go to China at a young age for Carrasco, not so much for Gaitan, but for Carrasco. They were the pawn in the deal and they got that deal over the line by saying, yeah, we'll go to China. Now, they've been in China for about a year or so and now they're like, whoa, we want to come back. So now they're trying to play Arsenal off against Bayern Munich, against PSG, against Man United, etc., etc., etc. Now, for me, like I said, I don't think we're going to sign Yannick Carrasco. I don't think that that's going to happen. I think that he's probably on more wages in China than we can afford to pay him. I don't think that because we're in the Europa League that that's attractive, if that makes sense. I think that a Champions League team like Bayern Munich, somebody that can go and win titles, would be right up his street. Now, it's probably agent talk. He loves to talk. And then obviously Arsenal are putting stuff out there as well. So it is what it is. Leave it all in the comment section down there. I'll be back in about 2 hours time from now. I'll be doing a live stream waiting for the Premier League fixtures to be announced. So put the bell on, subscribe if you're new, like and share the content. I'm out of here. Laters, peeps.